Hi, JG. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So I got to ask you, it's kind of the same question I ask a lot of folks right now with it being 2020 or 2021. What's it been like working for you? How's it been different for you working during a pandemic?
I mean, overall, it's been pretty similar because I'm used to just sitting at a desk and drawing by myself anyway, but just a lot less commuting for sure, and just sitting in my garage and trying to work with the kids doing their online schooling. So that's been the major difference.
How are you adjusting to being the teacher? I know a lot of parents are having some issues with that. How are you adjusting to that?
At the beginning, it was rough because, they don't understand how it works, but I've been kind of shocked at how good my kids are at technology, like better than me. Like once they get a hold of it and then they've done it for a couple of days, I'm like, okay, I forget, what's the password? How do we log onto your class? And they're like, it's this. And they just like do it. And you're like, oh my God, okay, let's stay in class.
This is why you stay in school. So close enough,
yes,
coming
exactly.
to HBO Max Thursday. What does it feel, or what in your opinion is the perks of working with a network or a streaming platform like an HBO Max, the kind of freedom that you get? How would that differ than working with a major network?
I think what I really like is the accessibility of the episodes for people once we release it. So we've already got season 1 out on HBO Max, and you can just watch it whenever you want. And once season 2 comes, it'll be there for whenever people want. And then as far as the freedom goes, I mean, doing this like aged up, like adult show, it's really fun because, beyond being able to kind of do whatever we want, I'm used to like working on a show that's more for kids, and being able to do stories that are about being married and about, more adult issues. Those have been really fun to tackle.
So you've worked with Cartoon Network, so that's much different, with the regular show. So I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. So when it comes to working on animated shows, I mean, some of the longest running shows in history are animated. What is it about, you think, the animated platform that gives it that longevity, that gives it that relatability to more people?
I think being able to go to these really like kind of creative out there places with animation is like really comforting. It's fun, like it's imaginative. I feel like one big bonus is that, for people like actors, you don't have to worry about anybody with age, like, because it's just their voice, and you can draw them however you want them to look. And so it makes it a lot easier to carry on for a long time if people like it. So yeah, I mean, it's just great that people are into animation and that it's become such a big deal for adults watching animation. The adult animation space has really been blowing up, and it seems like that's going to be a trend that will continue.
So when it comes to creating these, I mean, you have a lot more freedom with animation to be able to do certain things, like you can't have too many characters in a live action show, jump off a building and live to tell about it. So obviously you have the more freedom with animation. So do you feel like you get to be more creative, or do you tap into a different part of your experience, or maybe different examples from your own life that you pull from to just kind of blow it a little bit out of proportion, kind of?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, for the type of comedy that I like to do, I like having like really relatable situations. So like in season 2, one of the first episodes is Josh throwing out his back when he's picking up his daughter. And that happened to me in real life. And it was just like the funniest. I mean, it wasn't funny at the time, but it was really funny looking back at it and being like, oh, we got to like put that in a show. And then, like in the show, we were able to like have him do that. And then you like zoom into his spine and watch it explode, and like, just making fun of like what it feels like to throw out your back.
Right. So I'm reading some of the synopsis there of the show. You've got things from haunted couches, time traveling whiskeys, house guests from hell. Do you feel like that makes it more relatable? Some of these completely unrealistic, like you're not actually going to have a haunted couch, but do you feel like maybe some people, the idea of having one is what makes it super relatable to them?
I think so. And I think a lot of those things, like for that page, when we throw them in there, it's to show that even though the show is really relatable, it does go to these very surreal places. And so a lot of the times when we put these things in that are kind of crazy and out there, it's more of a metaphor for like a real life thing that is happening. So it's just the animation kind of taking over and being more creative about how you solve the problem. Because obviously in live action, you can't have a haunted couch. Like you'd have to make that up, or a time traveling whiskey. That's like impossible, but we can do that.
Right. Well, I appreciate it. I do have one final question. If you had to pick one, I would say animator, but maybe not a lot of the audience is going to know who is the creator, but maybe a favorite animated show that kind of shaped you and made you decide, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Who would you say that would be, or what show would that be?
Oh, it'd be Matt Groening. I mean, The Simpsons, I saw that growing up from the beginning, and it was just like a huge inspiration. I mean, it was so funny, and quoting it at school, like the next day with your friends, and like just stuff that would, like, watching a cartoon that could make you laugh out loud. Like, I find like a lot of shows you might be like, this is a funny show, but you're not laughing. But that show actually made me laugh out loud, and I was like, I want to try to make something that makes people laugh out loud.
And I feel like most people probably started watching The Simpsons because it was animated before or when they were too young to actually really appreciate it.
Yes. And you come back and watch it later and you're like, wow, I never got that joke. It's so good. Or you'll catch movie references where they're like copying staging from certain movies, and it's just so much richer when you watch it when you're older.
It's like, wow, I can't believe my parents actually let me keep that on the TV. It's interesting.
I know a lot of parents didn't let their kids watch it. I'm glad mine did.
Well, JG, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. Like I said, your show coming to HBO Max. Looking forward to watching the new season.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Take care.